mean, because for me, one of the issues with this is, and I don't have a problem with Ray Ellis or Mark Hersey or Scott Sherman, but all three of them have the same consultant as Carl DeMaio.
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but and like I said, it's not that Ray Ellis, Scott Sherman, Mark Hersey are horrible people or anything, but to me, it almost becomes a favoritism on the Republican Central Committee based on which consultant you use. And like I said, it's not that those three candidates are horrible people. They're going to make fine city council, especially Mark, and Scott's going to win his race, and Ray Ellis is going to tear it up in District 1. But again, just from the intra-party committee, that's the one problem that I have.
We agree on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
do the roll call, and then we can point to that down the road. And if that's true, then so be it. Then those that want to run for re-election in the Central Committee are going to have to defend that position.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I think the big issue with Central Committee, and the Democrats have been doing this for years because they're not open and transparent about anything, even though they preach it, is their whole thing, or the creeping in of our Central Committee is this politics by consulting.
I'm absolutely with you on that. I am against
and that's what I have a problem with.
I just realized, as in the last year, as I started walking into the sausage factory a little bit more, I see how the sausage is made. And I think the great thing about this Central Committee as it stands is it is a grassroots committee.
Right.
But I think that the influence of political consultants is there. And I'm a big one. I can handle it.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have it open and transparent. So if someone says to me, well, you picked X and Y because they were by that consultant, I can say, no, I picked X and Y because of this.
Yeah, because that you feel that they would be the better candidate.
Right, mine's real simple. How much closer to liberty am I getting? And it's that simple. Right. Yours is going to be it is too. Right.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think it's important for Central Committee members to be able to defend their votes.
Right. Right. And not just say, oh well, I voted this way because I work for so and so. Because that's
let them say that.
Because
let them say that. I'd love for them to say that.
Because that's the other thing too. And especially in that AD 76 race, there's certain people on our Central Committee who work for certain candidates that were going up for the endorsement. And the Central Committee in our bylaw states that if you're on the Central Committee and you don't support the Republican endorsed candidate, you could be booted off the Central Committee.
That's right.
And the same thing goes in the mayor's race. Even though the party endorsed Carl, if I had been working for either Nathan or Bonnie McManus, and I was on the Central Committee, obviously as a Central Committee member, I wouldn't be supporting the Republican endorsed candidate. Would that therein mean that I would be getting the boot on the committee? And the same thing goes in the AD 76 race. I have a good friend of mine who's done a lot of work for Sherry. If Farrah or Rocky had gotten the party endorsement, would she then have been knocked off the Central Committee? Even though she's supporting a Republican, so maybe that needs to be revisited probably in the next cycle in the next Central Committee as the new members get elected this year.
Again, I think this is where I think the transparent thing helps.
Right.
Because it's easily explainable at that point. Because if someone is not sort of on the team after the endorsement, it's very easily to say, okay, fine, they chose to place their efforts with whomever, and not necessarily the team player, but because that public roll call, it's very explainable at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not, you're not having errant Central Committee members, and I think it's. Right. Well, that's neat. I'm glad you brought that up because that was going to be my first.
Well, and again, and that's been my problem when I was on the Orange County Central Committee. It was like, I had a caucus chair who didn't like the party chairman, and this was in like the one district in Orange County that elects Democrats. Go figure. For Orange County.
Where was this?
Santa Ana, Garden Grove.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, so it was like Central Orange County. So
B1 Bombers, B1
Bombs
old district.
Bob Gordon's right.
Right.
So I was on the Central Committee here, and I had a caucus chair who didn't like the party chairman Scott Baugh, and I like Scott. Scott does.
Is he the current chairman now?
Yeah, Scott's the current chairman. Scott took over from Tom Mendes,
right,
who unfortunately passed away.
Passed away today, right?
But and there's things that Scott Baugh I think has done that have been phenomenal for the county party. There's things that I think Scott's done that haven't been so great. But I don't look at it that way. But my caucus chairman was very just so anti Scott Baugh. So it was like I was like the independent on the caucus because it's like I go with whichever idea is the best. And some people may say
that's why you're voting.
Well, yeah,
that's why you get elected.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I don't look at it as I'm so much a team player for this person or so much a team player for this person. I like, look, if the idea is good. Let's take it and let's run with it. Right? You know.
Well, that's, you know, one of the things I think is interesting is, and I've noticed this when we both either write or comment on roster, you know, I constantly try to drive home, look, this is an election. I mean, truly, the Central Committee is a true Republican with a small r form. I mean, voters elect you and so forth. Hey, I mean, I know we have caucus chairs here, but do they actually have caucus meetings? In other words, do the Central Committee members hold their own caucus meetings?
We're technically supposed to.
Oh, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we're technically supposed to. And we did actually for a long time. And I think just because of politics being what they are, especially within my district, there's a lot of committee members in the 76th, the old 76th, that are, you know, they work for consultants, they're running campaigns, they're you know, it's the consultant business of the Central Committee that we talked about. And because of which consultant they're working for and the mayor's race and which way things are going there, we stopped having caucus meetings because they felt like, you know, it was just going to be a, you know, however long bitch fest on either the mayor's race or whichever candidate they're working for.